I love this kind of work. Creating something with your own hands. It's restorative, it's peaceful. It lets me create even as I am created, imitating the imagination of my maker. It makes me love work. It makes me feel close to God, especially building something. Not just because Jesus was a builder too, but I've always found that interesting. The Gospels give us an incredible account of Jesus' ministry and teaching, which only lasted 3 years. But they tell us very little about the life of Jesus before he began his ministry. What about the first 30 years of his life, before he started teaching? What about the 18 plus years he worked as a carpenter? Was he just biding his time? Did all those years count? Or do we believe that Jesus was just as intentional about his first 30 years as he was his last 3? In everything, Jesus was obedient to the Father. So as a carpenter, wouldn't that have been to glorify God too? Think about what that means for our discipleship to Christ. Because you are a disciple of Jesus doesn't mean you have to vocationally be a preacher or a missionary for your calling to be valid. Our discipleship to Christ is more about becoming like him in character, becoming like Christ and doing as he does. The goal is to be a full disciple of Christ in your stage of life, in your job, in the field of education, medicine, law, entrepreneurship, farming, or like Jesus, woodworking. So when you open up your Bible, the question you should be asking is, how does this apply to me as a teacher, an engineer, or a paper salesman, as a dad? The question isn't, how do I do this in church? The real game is played out in the real world. That's where we have to apply these teachings to our own life.